This is not around college football a banger week, but there are some really interesting things that are going on in the Big 12, I think, as with Tech and Kansas State and all that. And we'll get to that. But Craig, let's start with West Virginia and the Houston Cougars.
Yeah, 11 a.m. on FS1. This will be part of two games getting the day started. Houston, 2-touchdown favorites or just about 2-touchdown favorites now in the top 25. And I think loving life and feeling good and feeling great about their chances to beat West Virginia this weekend. I'm taking the Cougs to keep it rolling. And I think that West Virginia's just got a lot more to look forward to in the offseason as far as kind of getting their full claws sunk into what Rich Rod wants this thing to look like and finding a quarterback to pair with a Scotty Fox, although maybe he's your answer short and long term eventually here. We'll find out, I think, over these next few games. But, give me Houston, and they're pretty overwhelming favorites here.
Yep, I agree with you. Houston rolling along, 13.5-point favorites right now at home. And they might have a little bit of a slow start or a letdown first start, but they're just too talented compared to West Virginia and what's going on there, in year one of the rebuild. Right here down the road at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, UCF at Baylor. I don't expect a big crowd for this. I don't think a home field advantage is going to be a huge deal, but I do think Baylor is a better team, and they should be able to score like they want to. It's a 3.5-point spread. I think Baylor takes this one, Craig, although I would not be surprised to see UCF keep this thing close.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Sons of UCF, Adam Eaton and those guys. They do a great job. I was on with them last night talking a bit about this game, and I'd said on a podcast earlier in the week that I thought that Baylor was going to win this game, that there's overall a better team if playing at their top capabilities, which they have sometimes done and sometimes they haven't. And here lately they haven't, and they've eaten a couple of losses. And I think if they were to eat another one, as I told those guys last night, I think Dave Aranda's got to be fired if you lose to UCF, Paul.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you come back from that. And it's not an indictment on UCF. It's just, they're not a top-ranked team. They're not somebody that you should be suffering a third consecutive loss to at home on homecoming. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any excuse that can be made to lose this game if you're Dave Aranda and the Bears. So this, to me, is a must-win, and it's probably well down the list for most people as far as importance. But for Baylor, I think it's a hugely important game that's going to dictate what the head coaching position looks like moving forward. Now, maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe they lose and he's still the head coach for the rest of the season. Yeah. I don't know what the hell's going on over there, but I think that would be a final straw for anybody who's still hanging on from a fan or media perspective. Would be you lose to UCF on homecoming and what is probably going to be a terrible crowd. I don't think you can talk or work your way back into getting support back at that stage. And it's already little to begin with. So it's important for that reason. Other than that, it has no big picture ramifications in any way other than, I guess, Baylor really needs a win to just try and maintain the track to bowl eligibility. Mm-hmm. Because if they lose this game, then it gets really dicey. But for UCF, man, they got 5 games left. They win this one, they'd only need one more. And if they could make a bowl game in Scott Frost's first year, that'd be a big deal. Now, I don't think they're going to beat Tech and Lubbock. I don't think they're going to beat BYU and Provo. I don't think they're going to beat Houston. So what does that leave them? It leaves them Baylor this weekend, and it leaves them Oklahoma State at home here in about 3 weeks. So there is a path there, especially if they win tomorrow. But if they don't, then it'll be difficult. I'm taking Baylor because I feel like they have to win.
Yeah, I think they have to win. And again, I don't think that anything's going to happen at Baylor unless the wheels come completely off.
Buddy, losing to UCF
that's the
in front of 10 people on homecoming.
That's the wheels off. Yeah. But as long as they're like the car can putter down the road, I don't think they're going to do anything. And I don't know if that's the best course of action.
I don't know how low they plan on sinking, but man, we are rapidly going to find out.
Yeah, it is not good over there right now. Arizona State on the road at Iowa State, TNT and HBO Max. Iowa State now a 7.5-point favorite. No Sam Leavitt. Look, Iowa State's not been rolling along, but with no Sam Leavitt and at home, I think they break out of their doldrums and win this game.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa State's lost 3 games in a row, but they are at home, and Arizona State's as wounded of a duck as you're going to find, I think, at this point. So, yeah, with no Leavitt, for sure, because he's going to have surgery now, as Kenny Dillingham informed all of us, and start looking to the future. I think that's a massive blow, and this would be a really alarming loss almost, I think, if you're Iowa State. 4 consecutive, and meanwhile, your coach is being rumored for these head coaching jobs, which I don't know how strong of a contender he really is. He's always like a name mentioned, but he's never a top name mentioned for any of the jobs, but clearly a guy who's probably having information passed along between he and his agent on, who's speculating and whatnot. But man, it's going to be really hard to sell that higher if they're losing 4 and 5 games in a row. So I think it's really important for Iowa State, almost a must win for them as well. Not that their head coach is on the hot seat, but I think they really got to win this game. And if you lose to a Jeff Sims led Arizona State team with no Jordan Tyson, and you do so at home, that's just going to be, really, really a low point for the Cyclones. So I don't think they're going to reach that. I think they're going to beat a wounded Arizona State team, and Arizona State's the team that we're starting to watch just see their season kind of fall apart here.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on, Texas Tech at Kansas State. Tech, 7.5-point favorites. They are in a quagmire when it comes to this game against Kansas State. I think they survive this one. They may not cover because they just have a rough time against Kansas State, and their troubles could start up again next year. But I think this Tech team is just a little bit too good, and they'll win the game. But man, this is one of those things. It is a long streak that Kansas State has, and the wins that Tech has in the last 15 years are few and far between.
Yeah, I mean, I put some stock into that, but also at the same time, I mean, who's losing those games? Cliff Kingsbury, like how many jobs ago was that for him? You know, or so I mean, there's something to that, but I don't put too much weight into that. Unlike the Kansas rivalry, that's something different because that's your little brother, big brother, whatever, looking across. It's a little bit closer to home, and you can't afford things like that. But I think this is a much different Tech team than we've seen in years past. And yes, there's lack of depth now at the quarterback spot suddenly that you were really relying upon heavily so far. But I still will give Tech the win here. I think Baron Morton will be sharp, and they've just got a lot of great players on both sides of the ball. I know K-State's playing better, but I'm not like going to go and overmodulate the other direction after oh my God, this guy is falling. Oh, they've won a couple games now. Oh, well, now they're great again. I don't know, but there is optimism to believe that they can pull off the win tomorrow. And I'm very curious to see this game because it is a lot more interesting than we expected it to be just a couple weeks ago.
Yep, absolutely. Number. Next up, Oklahoma State at Kansas. Man, Kansas needs a win in the worst way, and Oklahoma State is the medicine that can help that. They are 24.5-point favorites. I do think they'll win this game at home. Oklahoma State's probably not going to win the rest of the year. So, give me Kansas in this one, and they can take a deep breath for a week.
Yeah, I think they'll win this game. I mean, it's Oklahoma State. That's just kind of what's to be expected at this point. But we're close to the end, Cowboys fans. So, yeah, give me Kansas to win this game. But I do feel like there's a lot of chirping around Lance Leipold and how much is he trying to look at some of these other jobs. And I don't know how much there's actually something to that or just people speculating or not and trying to find reasons why maybe they haven't played that well, as he's distracted or not all in, or I don't know. But just seen a little bit of that conversation creeping up lately, and that comes with the territory of losing games. But I don't think they're going to lose to Oklahoma State. I think they'll get right and get a win and then be right there within striking distance of just needing one more to get to a bowl game.
Yep, absolutely. I keep saying number. Man, Halloween's getting to me. Colorado hosting Arizona. Arizona 4.5-point favorite in this one. I'll take Arizona. I don't know what to make of Colorado. If they win this, I don't know what to make of Arizona. I think Arizona's a little bit better, so I'm picking them to win this game because I don't know what to make of either of them.
Well, there's probably going to be some of these we get wrong because it's pick all the favorites basically, and then there's always a couple of these that go the opposite way. But it's hard not to pick the favorites in a lot of the cases this week because they're either overwhelming or there's big injuries or just a lot not going right for the other side. But for this one, man, being in Boulder makes me a little bit hesitant. But yeah, this is it's a weird game. I'm gonna take Arizona on the road. I don't feel great about that, but I really had not liked what I've seen from Colorado as of as of that Utah game. I mean, that was so bad following such a great win over Iowa State that maybe they bounce back and play really, really well. Maybe this is that game. This would be a good candidate for the upset game is Colorado at home. So, yeah, I mean, I'll go Arizona. I do think Arizona's a better overall team, but this would be the one that I'd probably flip-flop on if I had to go put some actual money down on it.
Yeah, it's just I mean, this is two teams that are hard. Like
they're hard to identify.
They're not the same team 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
They haven't been all year. Cincinnati at Utah. Craig, I'm the only one of us that picked Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. Utah's 10.5-point favorites. I am confident in my assessment that Vegas is dead wrong on this and Cincinnati wins this game.
Fair enough. I should also mention Arizona lost 3 out of their last 4. They've lost back-to-back, so they're not rolling into that one either. So, yeah, that could be one ugly game in Boulder. But regardless, I'm going with Utah at home. I think that they've lost to 2 really good teams in Texas Tech and BYU. I don't think that Cincinnati is some pushover by any means. I think they're a really good football team, but I'm right there with you on the spread being a little wonky. I mean, 10.5-point favorites for a team that's ranked nearly top 15 in the country. That is kind of odd to see, but I'm going to entrust in Vegas here. I mean, I trust my own pick regardless of what the spread was 0. I'd still pick Utah here, but that does make me feel like maybe even a little bit better, but we'll see. Maybe we're woefully wrong, and you can brag about this come Monday, but I'm taking Utah. I think they're a good team. I think Cincinnati is a good team. I think this will be a great game, and I'm just excited to see it. I'm excited to see the quarterback matchup, and this ought to be a lot of fun and clearly a very important game in the conference race because Utah can't afford a third loss, and Cincinnati's unblemished. So if Utah can beat them, give them one, then all of a sudden that top gets even more crowded with just 3 weeks to go. And we could be looking at something really spicy. But if Cincinnati takes care of business, then, man, them and BYU are sitting there potentially at 6-0 with 3 games to play and BYU Tech looming. And does it crack open a door for Tech to get back into it? I don't know. But Cincinnati, there's a lot of teams that would love to see them lose this weekend.